Laura Aime is one of dozens of victims now linked by DNA to Bundy. He was executed in 1989.
This breakthrough holds deep emotional weight for the man who actually stumbled upon her remains. He gave an exclusive interview to our own Dave Colley, who joins us now in the studio. Dave, you mentioned how vividly he recalls these events, almost as if they happened yesterday. It is truly remarkable what happens when you revisit a cold case dating back 5 decades. Usually, memories slip away as the years pass and people forget the specifics. However, when I reached out to this man for a sit-down, I managed to get my hands on the actual police statement he filed on the very day he happened upon Laura's body. It perfectly corroborated every detail he shared with me, proving he has a gripping account of that fateful afternoon. Her name has stayed with me ever since. I've always viewed her as a real person, not just a headline. Ray Ivins hasn't let the memory of that 1974 pre-Thanksgiving day fade away. Half a century later, every detail remains sharp, doesn't it? It's wild that you tracked me down to discuss this after such a long time. Back then, Ray was just a college student at BYU out for a mountain trek with his girlfriend in American Fork Canyon. Since it was late autumn and the branches were bare, I spotted a path I'd never noticed before and felt like exploring. They pulled over near the Timpanogos Cave Visitor Center, right by the creek. I had to hop out and navigate across the stream, which was only about 12 inches deep at the time. You had to watch your step on the rocks, then hike up a steep bank to reach the trail on the other side. We started strolling down the path toward the area where the Timpanogos Cave is located. That's when they saw a VW Beetle pulling into the canyon, parking exactly where their car was sitting. I couldn't see the vehicle clearly, but I worried someone might be breaking into my ride, so we headed back toward the water. Near the spot where we first climbed down, that's where we stumbled upon Laura Aime. It was a young girl's body caught in the undergrowth, and Ray couldn't tell if she was still breathing. He and his date raced to the visitor center for assistance. As I said, I'd left her there. But once my girlfriend was safe, I was desperate to save that young woman. We grabbed a park ranger and hurried back down to the creek bed. The shoreline and the parking area are quite long, so we ended up in the wrong place at first. I couldn't locate her, and the ranger looked at me like I was making it up, but I knew what I saw and eventually found Laura again. It was clear right then that she was gone. At that point, nobody even realized Laura Aime was missing. Theodore Bundy wasn't a known name yet, though a teenager from Bountiful named Debbie Kent had vanished a few weeks prior. Ray actually questioned the Utah County investigator about whether the victim could be Deborah Kent. I asked if they had any leads or if it was her, and the detective straight up told me, "Yeah, you're the suspect." It was a massive blow for a kid just trying to do the right thing. Looking back, Ray was a genuine hero that day. If he hadn't found Aime, she might have been lost forever under the heavy winter snow and spring floods. Even though it was a nightmare and something I wish I'd never witnessed, I take comfort in knowing her location was finally known, and she didn't just vanish into thin air like so many other victims. Ray never got to meet Laura's family, but even 5 decades later, he feels a sense of peace knowing his involvement eventually brought them some closure. I'm glad they found her. The whole tragedy breaks my heart. As you get older and have children of your own, these things stick with you. You truly grasp the depth of the pain those parents must have felt. That was Dave Colley reporting, and he'll be back with more in a bit. Aime's relatives thought this chapter was closed, so the news of the DNA evidence caught them completely off guard. Reporter Andrew Adams caught up with Aime's sister to talk about her life and that disappearance over 51 years ago. Andrew? Yes, Michelle Impala was only 12 when her sister Laura went missing. She remembered her as a girl who loved life and animals, and this DNA result just proves what they always suspected. My father was a broken man after that happened. What was found in that canyon during the fall of 1974 was soul-crushing. He was much more lighthearted before all this. Laura Aime was just 17 with her whole future ahead of her. She was a joy to be around, making the reality of her violent death almost impossible to process. She stood 6 feet 1 inch tall, but she'd been beaten so severely that the coroner initially recorded her height as 5'11". Her family said they'd long believed Ted Bundy was the one responsible because his signature was all over it. Honestly, we assumed the whole thing was behind us forever, which explains our shock when those investigators from the Utah County Sheriff's Office suddenly knocked on our door. Incredible. I was completely speechless. I never saw this coming. We finally possess absolute proof confirming that Theodore Ted Bundy was the one who killed Laura. Authorities officially declared that advanced genetic testing settled Laura's homicide investigation. Her sibling felt nothing but immense and sincere appreciation. It is truly stunning that the public still cares so much about Laura's story. Honestly, I am deeply thankful for that forensic squad. Following over 50 years of waiting, gaining any sense of resolution regarding those events was absolutely wonderful information. The team showed incredible dedication to finishing this for her, and seeing such genuine compassion from others is profoundly moving to me. Clearly, Laura was deeply cherished, and her sibling mentioned earlier how much she adored all creatures, prompting her to recount a specific memory involving her favorite horse. Laura used to feed her stallion cherry licorice treats, but her sister noted that once Laura passed away, that animal refused to touch another sweet. Returning to the studio, truly what a powerful narrative that is heavy. Laura Aime was 17 years old when she disappeared in Utah in the autumn of 1974, and her family waited 50 years for the truth. She vanished without a trace at a time when no one had yet heard the name Ted Bundy and when no one even knew she was missing. Advanced genetic testing has now confirmed what her family always suspected, that Theodore Bundy was the man responsible for her death. Bundy was executed in 1989, but the DNA confirmation came decades later, through technology that simply did not exist when he was first arrested. The breakthrough carries enormous emotional weight, not just for Laura's family, but for the man who first found her body in American Fork Canyon. Ray Ivins was a college student at BYU in November 1974, out on a mountain trek with his girlfriend when everything changed. It was late autumn, the branches were bare, and Ray spotted a path he had never noticed before, so they decided to explore. They crossed a shallow stream near the Timpanogos Cave Visitor Center, climbed a steep bank, and began walking along the trail. On their way back, near the spot where they had first climbed down, that is where Ray and his girlfriend stumbled upon Laura Aime. She was caught in the undergrowth beside the creek. Ray could not tell if she was still breathing. He did not hesitate. He made sure his girlfriend was safe, then raced to the visitor center to find a park ranger and return to the scene. The shoreline was long, and they ended up in the wrong place at first. The ranger looked at Ray with disbelief, but Ray knew what he had seen. He found Laura again. It was clear right then that she was gone. At that moment, nobody even knew she had been reported missing. When Ray asked the detective whether the victim might be Deborah Kent, a teenager who had vanished weeks earlier, the response was shocking. The detective looked at Ray and said, "Yeah, you're the suspect." A teenager trying to do the right thing had become a person of interest. Looking back, Ray Ivins was a genuine hero that day. If he had not found Laura, she might have been lost forever beneath the winter snow. Even though it was a nightmare, Ray takes comfort in one thing. Laura did not simply vanish into thin air like so many of Bundy's other victims. Laura's sister, Michelle, was only 12 when she lost her. She remembered her as a girl full of life, who loved animals more than almost anything. Laura used to feed her horse cherry licorice treats. After she died, that horse refused to ever touch another sweet, as if it understood the law. 50 years later, the DNA result finally gave the family absolute proof. It was not closure they had hoped for, but it was the truth they deserved.